Friends, welcome back. I am Vivekanandan. So in today's video, let us discuss about what is a franchisee, what are the advantages and disadvantages of a franchisee business model. Of course, we will discuss this with a lot of examples, and most importantly, in today's scenario, in a country like India, the common kind of franchises given are in the areas of food industry, where a lot of restaurants, quick service restaurants, fast food chains, they get franchisee of some established brands. Then it happens in the form of saloons, as beauty parlors. So in that area, a lot of franchises are being given. Then it has also started, franchises are also given in the area of clothing. So many established clothing brands give their franchises for small stores to be established. Then now off late, one another trend which is picking up is franchises for tea shops. So a lot of tea shops are being mushrooming all over the place. So tea shops are being given franchises where they are made to set up some small shops with maintaining a quality and providing some quality service. All these areas franchises are being given. But first, let us speak about what is a franchisee, and to understand what is a franchisee, one of the most successful brands which has established this franchisee is McDonald's. So let's speak about McDonald's in very short and then jump into the advantages and disadvantages of following a franchisee model. So McDonald's, we know that the chairman of McDonald's was Mr. Ray Kroc. So he was not the founder of McDonald's, but to his biggest surprise, he was very much impressed by the procedures followed by McDonald's restaurant. For example, what has happened was he was standing in line to get food from McDonald's. But what has happened was this line kept moving very fast. Everybody were given their food, the ordered food very fast. The delivery was very quick, and what has happened was he was very much impressed by this kind of a service. So he went inside and spoke about this particular business model with the founders of McDonald's, the McDonald's brothers, and he asked them, how are you able to provide food with this kind of a quality in such a short span of time? And the answer was, they told that we follow some standard operating procedures where we already keep the bun ready, cut it into correct shapes and sizes. Then we have the meat ready, and on the other side we have the toppings ready. And once the customer orders the food, we deliver according to their expectations. So we are able to do it with a very quick way and with a lot of finesse. So this is the idea behind it. The moment he hears this particular idea, what he felt is, this idea can be replicated across United States of America. So he gets the ownership of this particular restaurant, McDonald's, and he starts on his own. In the initial days, he had actually struggled a lot to replicate the exact quality and the standards adopted by the original McDonald's brothers. But then what has happened is, the moment he mastered it, what happened was he was able to replicate the same model across many places. He was able to start much more restaurants in a very fast way, in a very quick way. The moment he was able to start much more restaurants, what he felt was this model can be taken much more faster if we are able to give some franchises for people. And what he actually meant was, if they are able to teach the standard operating procedures of making this burger to franchisees, they can also replicate the same, and they can also establish their own store and run their own business. And what they can actually do is just pay a franchisee fee for using their brand. So this is how this franchisee model works basically. So now let us, I just explained this in a very general way, but then let us get into the specifics of a franchisee model. Let's start with the advantage. So what is the biggest advantage of having a franchisee model? Number one is all about less time. Why do I say that? For example, you are working with a company. Say at 40 years of age, you really want to start your own business and you want to get into a restaurant business. Now what happens is, before starting your own restaurant, we really have to do a lot of research in terms of what kind of restaurant should I start and where to start, from whom should I be contacting, where should I buy the food materials. All these things are a big question mark, and we really have to put in a lot of time and effort to do this, to understand the business first. But the moment you are going to take a franchisee, this time and effort is saved. You are already getting a franchisee of an established food brand now. So what will happen is they will teach you all those basics. They will supply you all the essentials, because we are anyway going to pay a franchisee fee, and it is their duty to support us in starting this particular restaurant. So obviously all that is being so that is going to be the biggest advantage for us. So time and effort is saved more, and you can right away start running your business. So this is the first advantage. The second advantage would be like it is all about brand. For example, you want to start your own salon. So what happens is the moment you start a salon, immediately it is going to be difficult to get customers. But for example, you are taking a salon or a franchisee of a established salon, a beauty parlor, and what has happened is suppose a customer has visited the same salon in say in Mumbai, and the same customer will be very much surprised and happy to see that same salon which he got a very good experience in Mumbai in his hometown, in his or her hometown, and immediately they will not have any hesitation to visit the particular salon. So the footfalls might increase if it is an established brand, if people already know about that particular brand. So marketing efforts would be actually less, or else you really have to spend a lot in marketing and also wait for the customers to come in. So that will also be there. So both these things are saved in terms of taking a franchisee. And the third point would be like a much more important thing in running a business, which is the network. For example, you want to start another cake shop. What happens is you need to purchase items in bulk, right from the flour to the jam or the sauce or a cream or whatever it is. What happens is now if it is going to be a franchisee, the franchisee owner would actually show you that open up the network, show you the people. You can get this particular items from them at this particular discounted price because we are a long serving customer for them. So everything would be made available very quickly again. In fact, that is the most important one, because people actually spend a lot of time in checking the raw materials or sourcing the raw materials for the shop. So here that is going to be very, very easy. So these would be the lot of advantages about having a franchising model, and the disadvantages over here would be like this. For example, the main disadvantage would be the cost structure. Even to start a franchisee, we might pay a capital fee for them, and most importantly, not only that initial investment. Anyway, initial investment we have to do it even if we are starting on our own, but there is going to be a franchisee fee, whether it is on a monthly basis or a yearly basis or a quarterly basis. It depends upon the franchisee, but then we have to pay a franchisee fee for them. So what if the business is running very successfully and the revenue is always more, then that is not going to be an issue. But for example, the business is facing some uncertainty like the current situation, or sometimes your needs are more, you have a lot of personal and financial commitments, it will act. So now what will happen is the revenue would be there, but then when you're going to pay a fee for the franchise owner, the final amount which you will have in your hand might be very less. There you might find a scarcity, so this might be a disadvantage sometimes. So this is the first one. Second would be like for example, you might have some less freedom and less creativity. For example, you take a franchise of a clothing shop, and the first 2 years you have mastered the art of setting the clothing shop. So where to display the t-shirts, where to keep the trousers, where to set up the mirror, and all these things you have got a knowledge, and you have followed the template given by the franchise owner. So now what happens is after 2 to 3 years, your own creativity might take over. For example, that clothing brand, their logo might be displayed in a blue background with a white font, and now you really wanted to add some more colors to the background, so that you might feel that it might attract the customer very much. But can you do that on a spot, on the go? You cannot do that, because we are restricted by the brand of that franchisee owner. For example, what we have to do now is we have to inform the franchisee owner that I have this particular idea. The franchisee owner, they have to like that particular idea, and once they really want to implement it, they have to implement it across all the franchisee shops now. So the time is going to be taking, the time is much more. You cannot do things instantly. free. So there is less freedom, less creativity over here. So that might be an impediment sometimes. And one more disadvantage would be on this particular area where the consistency needs to be maintained across all the franchisee owners, or else it is going to be a suffering for us as well. This is one reason why franchisee people, they complain that either the franchisee owners are too strict or the franchisee owners are not at all strict. For example, assume that there is a biryani shop in your for example, let us assume that you run a biryani shop of a franchisee owner, and now what happens is one of your friend also runs the same biryani shop in another part of the town, and now say that your friend is not following the standard protocols mentioned by the franchisee. For example, he is not using the same quality of rice as suggested. He is not bringing out the food items in the shapes prescribed by the original franchisee, and now one of your customer goes and tastes food in that particular franchisee shop, and the person does not like the food over there and is totally a dissatisfied customer now. So now when he travels to the other part of the town and when he wants food, and when he sees your particular location, he may not be immediately willing to come and taste food over here because of the bad experience he had in the other franchisee shop. So that is a big problem over here. So quality has to be maintained properly across all the franchisee shops, or else your brand also gets diluted. So that is also a danger. So these would be the various different advantages and disadvantages of running a franchisee shop. But then normally it is said that running a franchisee shop is a little bit advantage, because instead of starting with no experience, there is somebody to hold your hand and take you forward. So that is one thing normally considered to be an advantage while taking a franchisee. And apart from this, what people normally do is you have to renew your membership also. So there are people who actually run and renew the same franchisee for years together, but at the same time start their own shops, implementing or replicating the same shop which they are already running. So that will also happen. But when this is happening, the biggest doubt for people would be like, who want to start a franchisee would be like, or to know about franchisee would be like, so are the franchisee owners okay with this? For example, their franchisee people, the people who are taking franchises, getting to know the nuances of the business and starting their own shops across, are they okay with that? So they are completely okay with this, because their idea is they have made a standard protocol now. So once they know that this can be implemented across and replicated elsewhere, and much more shops can be opened very quick, they are completely okay with that. For example, say if 100 people take a franchisee, 10 might do that. They are okay with that particular risk. But then they are very fast and quick enough that this model will be taken to another 100 places. So that is the most advantage for them, and so they might be okay with that. And this normally happens. Either people start there on their own, but when people totally do not renew and start completely a new shop in the same location, again customers might have a doubt whether we also will be maintaining the same kind of a quality, we might have the same reputation as that previous brand. So again, the advantages and disadvantages would come and fall inside. So these are the various things associated with running a franchisee business model. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day.